am so especially grateful to have Tim Denbo here with us. Today, Tim is the founder of Virtual Tour Cafe, which is a national real estate virtual tour and photography services company. He also is owner of a company called Real Easy Photo Fix, which specializes in virtual staging and photo enhancement services. Tim has just a wealth of knowledge and over 40 years of experience in the real estate industry, in marketing and photography for real estate. He's a speaker, an instructor, a contributing editor to many national magazines, and he knows all things about real estate and photography. He actually also has two-time best-selling author on Amazon. Woo! So with that said, Tim, share with us your magic, please.
Well, I just like everything you just said there. I think we're done. Thank you, Adrian, and thank you for inviting me here. Can everyone hear me okay? Is my volume okay?
Perfect.
So give me some thumbs up. Thumbs up? Okay, awesome, guys. So thank you again, Adrian. Also like to just give a shout out and a thank you to Erica Starkey. So happy to be here and happy to be able to share some things with you. These are challenging times. This can be pertinent at any time, what I'll share with you, but it's especially pertinent during these times. So first of all, just thank you. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be anywhere. You know, these days, we just have to count our blessings every day. So thank you again. So what I'd like to do is, if I have permission to do it, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to walk you through some things that I hope will be helpful to you. That sound okay to everybody? Nod your head. Yeah. All right. Cool. So here I go. I'm going to share my screen and hang on just 1 second. The host has disabled my screen sharing. So host, if you would enable my screen sharing, that would be appreciated. Do the opposite.
Eric, could you do that for me?
Otherwise, I'm going to sing, and you do not want me singing. That's my backup plan. You should always have a backup plan. My backup plan is to sing.
That's awesome. Okay, yes, please, actually.
Somewhere over the rainbow. That'll get you changing the screen. Okay. I still am not able to share my screen.
It should do it now.
Okay, I think we're there.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, can everyone see that? Thumbs up? Yep, thumbs up. All right, cool, guys. So what I want to do is I'll just take a little bit from the most recent book I wrote. Barbara Corcoran from the Shark Tank gave me a testimonial on there. I always love to say that because it's just so cool. So I want to just walk you through some things, though, just taking some excerpts out of this book and putting it into new context and new things that aren't in the book that you can do. So what happens when, so first of all, Virtual Tour Cafe, we do professional photography as well. So we're a national service to help real estate agents all over the country, locally here in the greater Northern California, San Francisco, out to Sacramento area, down to Monterey. We do offer professional photography, but you can't always do that. And so especially in these times, we need a way of virtually showing houses and virtually taking pictures sometimes, or virtually creating listing materials. So what happens if you can't go in for whatever reasons? Maybe the sellers have been sick, maybe they don't want anybody in the house, whatever the reason, or maybe there are some rules that don't allow the photographers in. Now, photographers are allowed in at least most of the Bay Area now. We are exempted or considered to be essential to the listing process, even in occupied homes. Even though you can't show an occupied home, photographers are allowed to come in and photograph it, which of course helps you not have people inside it sharing it. So, but what happens when you can't? So let's talk about some things that you and or your sellers can do to help get this property listed and get it marketed properly. You or your sellers could take photos. You or your sellers could take video. You could actually do your own 3D. And we've put together some packages with Adrian and Erica and just for you guys. So just special packages. So I appreciate the efforts by your team to help put these things together for you to help you be more successful. So let's talk about some of these things. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I put together a 7-step process. So whether it's you taking the pictures or whether it's your sellers taking the pictures, there's some things you need to do to take proper pictures. Set the correct camera settings. Now, when I say that, what I want you to do is really, it's up to your particular camera, but you want to set your camera settings not to do HDR. You want your camera to be set at a high resolution, but not the highest resolution. So you want something kind of in the middle, right around, they use a term called pixels. So you want your camera to do something around 3, 4, 5,000 pixels by whatever the other number is. The other number is set automatically. You just set the higher number. So choose probably a medium resolution in your camera so they're not great big 15 megapixel files. You just need things that are in the 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 megapixel file size. Take the right angles, composition, and we're going to get into some of this in more detail. Take the right angles, the composition, get the lighting right, focus, take interior photos, take exterior photos, and send the photos to us, of course. So let's go ahead and do this step by step. Number 1, camera settings. Always use your rear camera. I shouldn't say always. Most cameras, the rear camera setting has higher pixel rating than the front camera settings. The front camera is really put in there for you to do selfies, for you to do sharing with people where you're online with them over your phone. But the rear camera is the one that is set to be for taking pictures more. So use the rear camera settings. Set the size or the resolution to full or at least 3 megabyte size, but don't make them so that they're 10, 15, 20 megabyte file size. That's just too big. It's going to take too long to upload them, too long to work with them. Do not use the HDR settings. We can do HDR, but the camera settings that do HDR, they don't look as good in my opinion. If you like them, you're welcome to do them, but I think that you're better off not using the HDR. We're going to do the equivalence of what HDR is intended to do. We're going to photo enhance them for you to make them look much better if you're sending them to us. Do not use camera flash. Turn off your camera flash. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. Composition and angle are the key to good photos. The number 1 most important thing is taking horizontal pictures. So with your camera, that means wide like this, not vertical like this. So don't take pictures like this. Take pictures like this, okay? And whichever way you go, you get used to whichever way here, I'll just take my camera out of it here. With your camera, take a look at where the top of the camera is, where the lens is, and decide whether you're going to turn it to the left, so the lens is over here, or to the right, to where the lens is over here, and always do it the same way. Otherwise, some of your photos are going to be upside down when we're looking at them. Now, we can flip them around, but it just makes it a lot easier for you and us if you take them the same direction. So turn your camera to a horizontal position and point it at the subject that you're taking a picture of. And we'll get into that with composition, okay? No, put a big X there. Yes, that's the way you want to do it. Okay. Take straight photos. Now what I mean by that, and I'll show you examples, but what I mean by that is don't get up high and take a picture down or get down low and take a picture up. You want the picture to be straight. Just like my video, the way I'm framed in the video camera here, I'm always looking for, it's not perfectly straight, but it's fairly straight. The camera's not looking up at me and it's not looking down at me. So use this same technique for when you're doing video conferencing with people. It's a great way to keep yourself, you want to be looking straight into the camera, or in this case, when you're doing real estate photography, you want to be looking at the room level. You don't want to be pointing up or down, okay? So take all the pictures horizontally, except, remember the old saying, there's an exception to every rule? Well, bathrooms are the exception, especially small bathrooms. Now, please, when you're taking a picture of a bathroom, do not leave the toilet seat up. Put the toilet seat down when you're taking pictures of a bathroom. Now, if it's a big enough bathroom, if it's a nice, master bathroom, it's a nice, good sized bathroom, do the horizontal. Take a nice horizontal of the bathroom. Get yourself probably a little bit lower. You want to be about 4 to 5 feet up from the floor. People buy floors, they don't buy ceilings. So take your photo so that you're getting a little closer, not down on the floor, but you want to be about in that 4 to 5 foot range if you've got an 8 to 9 foot ceiling. You want to be just about halfway. And then take the photo level. Take straight photos. Take photos at approximately 4 to 5 feet from the floor. Choose, yes, question from Adrian.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tim, I don't want to interrupt you, but a couple people are saying they can't really see. You have such good visual presentation. Can you flip your screen or maybe go back to your shared file?
Oh, do you want to see me?
I want to see all of you.
You want to see me? You can see me on the side there. I can do that, I think.
I'm sorry, I don't want to make it.
Let's see here.
Maybe not.
Well, where is it? Here we go. Stop share. Hi, can you see me now?
Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We see you.
And I can always go back because I want to show you some of the things, examples in my presentation as well. But so what I'm talking about is using your phone to take, I'm assuming you're going to be taking pictures with a phone, or your seller's going to be. Now also, this is a document that I'm going over that I can send to you, that I can send to Adrian. She can distribute however you see fit, or we can send to people directly. But I created this 7 steps for you or your sellers to be able to take better pictures. And so it is available for you. So I just want you to know that. So you want to take your pictures at about 4 to 5 feet from the ground. Take them horizontally. Do not take them this way. Take them this way. And you don't want to be pointing down or pointing up. You want to be taking straight on. Okay? Does that help? Yes. I know you say yes. Okay. So I'll go back and forth from the sharing. And I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to get down. Got to share here. Okay, you can see my screen okay again? Okay. And so when we get into some other things, I can switch back and forth, I think. So choose foreground and background objects. But this one is really good for me to show you in my examples. Let me show you what I mean by this. In this photo here, everyone can see this photo, right? So in this photo, we're getting some things in the foreground. Foreground is the things closest to you. So even though it doesn't seem like much, this wall is a good foreground, and I can look at this wall to make sure I'm keeping it straight. So you want to turn your camera up, down, left, right, so that that wall is straight. Then look over on the other side and notice that I'm keeping my camera straight on that TV there on the wall, or maybe it's if it was a painting, it'd be the same thing. So you want to find things that are in the foreground, and you want to then focus your camera in the middle area to the background. You don't want to be focusing on the couch here or the wall here, because then these things in the back are going to be out of focus. So let's go ahead and look at the next one here. Here's another good example. Notice I'm keeping the window straight there. I'm keeping the camera straight on this side. We're fairly low, but we're really, if you look at it, I think you'd have a hard time saying, are we closer to the floor or closer to the ceiling? We're really right about in the middle there. So you see lots of the floor. You see some things in the foreground. This would be the foreground. This would be the foreground. this would be the foreground, and then the background. So let's talk a little bit about lighting. If you notice here, all the lights are on. All the lights are on. Always turn and look for things like underneath the microwave light. Make sure the microwave light's on. Look for those places where there might be a hidden light. Maybe there's a light underneath, you know, an area like this, an art area. So make sure all your lights are on. And before I keep going, I just want to make sure, Adrian, do I have just 10 or 15 minutes, or do I have longer or shorter, or?
Well, we technically have until 4:30.
Well, we'll just keep going then.
Keep on going.
Okay, and you can stop me or ask questions at any time. Okay, so let's talk about lighting. Turn all the lights on. Do not use flash. Take photos during midday or twilight. Try not to take photos when the sun is just zooming in that window. I mean, if actually here, let me show you something. So I'm going to, I think I can swap these. Let me see if I can do that. If there's an easy swap button. No, I don't see it. Let me just stop sharing for a moment, or wait, hang on here. Pause sharing. So I'm going to pause the sharing, and let's see if you probably still have the sharing. Okay, let me. I'm going to stop the sharing. You can see me okay? All right, here's, take a look at this. Watch when I turn the camera towards the window. Look how I look now. Now, if I were to turn that blinds open, it looks terrible, right? Everyone agree? Looks terrible. That's because the camera is pointing at the sunlight. It's pointing at the light. You don't want light in front of the camera. You want light behind the camera. Okay, much better, right? It's all about the lighting there. So when you're taking pictures in a house, try not to take pictures when it's the most bright sunlight coming in through the windows. If you have to take pictures during that time, point the camera away from the windows preferably, or line yourself up even with the windows, so you're not pointing directly into the window. Another trick, if your camera or your cell phone has the ability of locking focus, you can point down at some couch or something in the room, hold the focus, and then bring it back up to take a picture of the whole room, and it's going to be getting the light sensing from inside the room, not from the windows, if that makes sense. Okay, let me switch back here. Okay. Here's just another example of composition and lighting. You want to just try and get the whole room. This is really one of the reasons why professional photography does so much better than a cell phone or amateur photography, because amateur cameras, those under $1,000, and cell phones don't have wide angle lenses. You don't want it to be so wide that it distorts the room or makes bowed, you know, the bowing on the sides where it looks like a fish tank. You don't want that, but you do want wide angle. And that's one of the differences between professional cameras and unprofessional or amateur cameras. But there are lenses that you can add to a cell phone. And if you spend $50 to $100, if you're into that, you can actually get a wide angle lens that is magnetic that attaches to your cell phone. So that's an option for you if you really want to. So again, notice the lighting. We don't have the harsh light coming in through the windows. We have all the lights turned on. We have a nice straight line here. We have a nice straight line here. Now, I know I'm not trying to turn you into professional photographers. That's not the point here. But I think if you pick up just a few tips, you'll take much better pictures, and we can enhance them to make them look almost like they're professional. So this is a professional photo, of course, by our team, but it's an example of how you want to keep it nice and straight on the sides, how you want all the lighting, and how you're going to keep some things in the foreground and in the background. So talking about focus, we've already talked a little bit about it, but here's the most important tip I'll give you on focus. Use a tripod. If at all possible, use a tripod. Yes, there's tripods for cell phones. So use a tripod for your cell phone. Use autofocus on your cell phone or your camera, and focus on multiple points if your camera allows that. Some cameras do, some cameras don't. Some are just automatically focusing on the entire room. So these cell phone cameras are pretty amazing these days. So if you've got one of the newer ones, it's probably going to do a pretty good job of doing what you want with the focus. Focus on further away objects if you have that ability. Again, this may be a moot point because cell phone cameras generally are just going to get the best composition, the best focus for you without giving you a choice of really where you're focusing. But if your camera has the option, then you would want to do that. So use focus hold, like I was saying, to kind of trick the camera. You can point at something in the room, click and hold the focus, and then bring it back up so it's a nice straight picture, and it'll keep the lighting sensitivity for the inside the room. If you can't do a tripod, or you or your sellers don't want to buy a tripod, at least hold yourself up against the wall. Prop yourself up against the wall and then focus the camera straight, okay? Just another example, we've got things, look for things like this. This is kind of the things that make the image more interesting. You've got some interesting things going on over here, some interesting things going on up here, some interesting things here, and then interesting things in the back. So you're using foreground and background to make the picture more interesting. Notice again, all the lights are on. Interior photos. So now you're getting into it. You or your sellers are going to take pictures. Interior photos, take from every corner of the room, or at least the more interesting corners. So first thing I teach photographers when we hire a new photographer and I'm teaching them how to do real estate photography, I teach them the four corners. The four corners, get into, if I were to do the, any room, you get into, first of all, get to the outside of the room and then kind of get your camera just barely inside the door and take the picture. That'll give you the widest possible shot that you can get. So take from 2 to 4 corners of the room to get different angles of the same room. Stand just outside, like I was mentioning, to get as wide an angle as you can. Don't be too high. Be about 4 feet from the ground and take that nice straight shot. You're going to want to take on the interior photos, the front entry door from the inside. So you want to give people an idea of what the foyer is like. So you want to take that nice entryway or the foyer from inside, stay as far back as you can, get the living room, the family room, the den, the office, the kitchen, the master bedroom, master bath, secondary bedrooms, and secondary bathrooms. So that's kind of what you want to get as far as interior photos go. Take the exterior photos. Try to avoid the neighbors' houses when you're taking the front of the house photo. What you want to do is you want the subject, which is the house, you want the subject to be the main thing. So try to get your camera to where you're not really including much of the street. You don't need a photo of the street. Everyone knows their streets. You may want a picture of the sidewalk if there's a sidewalk in front of the house. People do with kids. They like sidewalks. Even without kids, like to be able to walk around. Not every neighborhood has sidewalks. So you may or may not want to include the sidewalk. But be sure to just really focus on the house itself. Try to get some sky in it. So get some blue sky, get the house, but try to get it back far enough so you get the entire house and the front yard, but try to be close enough that you're not getting the neighbors. And yes, if there's trash cans, move them. Okay, avoid the neighbors, avoid the street if you can. Take 2 to 4 different angles of the front. Take backyard photos, pools, spas, all that sort of thing. So let's get into how we can help you with those photos. So this is a photo that an agent took. This was down in Los Angeles, a client of ours, and the agent is using our service to have us create a virtual tour for him, but he took the photos. So it's a good picture. He actually took a nice picture. It's a good square picture. He's got the house focused. It's not a bad picture at all, but you tell me with a thumbs up if you like this one better. You like that one better? Okay, good. I only see a few pictures, so I saw at least one thumbs up. So hopefully you like that better. So it's either this or this. Okay, so that's what we can do with photo enhancement. So we can take this photo and we can enhance it. We're not changing anything. We're not doing anything that's not allowed. We're simply taking the photo and bringing out the true colors, and we're enhancing it to make it look much, much, much nicer. Here's a photo of a dining kitchen area. It's not a bad photo. It's okay. But notice it's not exactly straight and it looks kind of dark. So how about that? Is that a little better? Okay, definitely see some heads nodding on that one. So you've got this or you've got this. It's subtle, but it makes a huge difference. Your emotion, when you look at this, if you're a buyer and you're looking at this photo versus this photo, makes a ton of difference. Okay, so send the photos to Virtual Tour Cafe or to your agent if talking to a seller. See, this is in our 7 steps that we can send you, and you can pass this on to your seller. So your seller, if you're asking them to take the photos, you're telling them, send the photos to your agent or to Virtual Tour Cafe. Save your photos to your computer first, so don't just send them from the cell phone. Upload them from your cell phone to the computer, then send the best 20, 30, 40, whatever you want, but 20 or 30 is really about the right number. Send the photos in full size to your agent or Virtual Tour Cafe. If doing virtual staging, let us know which photos you want to have staged. So that's just kind of, again, part of the 7 steps that you or your seller, that you can send to your seller and let them know, here's the steps of what to do. So you can provide this training to your seller if you need to have them take the photos under the conditions where you're not able to or you don't want to take them yourself. Okay, so we doing okay so far? Let me see if there's some thumbs up. Okay, good. But stop me anytime if I'm getting boring, if you got some questions, whatever it is, just say, hey, Tim, hold on. So what is a virtual open house? Well, my definition of a virtual open house is anything that allows a buyer to view it virtually. So virtual tours that have been around for ages, for at least a dozen years or more, are definitely a virtual open house. But there's other ways that today, in today's market and everything, that you can do virtual open houses. You can do a Facebook live stream. Hey, everybody, coming here to you from 123mainstreet.com. Wait till you see this house. Now, here's the thing that people make a mistake with. I'm going to try to, here we go. You see me now? Okay. Here's what people make a mistake. They make it all about them. Hi, everybody. It's Tim here. Wait till you see this beautiful listing that I have. Isn't it gorgeous? Here's the living room. It's beautiful. And now we're at the front of the house. Here, let's take a look at, it's not about you. Turn it around, point it towards the subject, the house. It's not a video about you. It's a video about the house. So turn it around, use a selfie stick. You get one of these selfie sticks for, under 20 bucks. Get a selfie stick, put your phone in there, and use the selfie stick like that, but pointing away from you. Camera in the rear, so I can see what I'm doing, but the camera's over there, and you're going to be videotaping or doing a presentation with your selfie stick around the house. Now, if you just, you're rolling in the dough and you just got, right now, today, everybody has so much money with the pandemic going on. We're all just rolling in money, right? Okay, just kidding. So if you can afford it, you can buy a gimbal selfie stick or a gimbal type of a device like this. A gimbal is something that's kind of like a little roller in there, and it keeps the cell phone steady. So you can go through the house with a, so to speak, selfie stick. It's not necessarily a selfie stick as much as it's a cell phone tripod with gimbal. Just search on Amazon for gimbal tripod or gimbal, cell phone, selfie stick, anything like that. And the gimbal helps keep it straight. You've all seen those videos where, you're just like, whoa, slow down, let me off this ride. You don't want to be taking people on a ride or they're going to just leave you. So be sure to keep it as straight as you can, and a selfie stick will help you keep it straight. It helps you move straighter through the house. I can move this much straighter and smoother than I can just holding the cell phone and walking around, okay? So use one of those, and you can do a Facebook Live, you can do a Zoom live stream, you can do a Zoom meeting. So you can set these up, you can schedule these and share the link with people in your social media and say, hey, this Saturday, I'm going to be doing a live stream open house from my listing. And then go to the house, get ready, get everything just like you're doing a real open house, except since it's occupied, you can't have people come to the house. So you want to do a virtual open house. Do the Facebook, do the Zoom, record it. Be sure to record it so you can share it later. Record it, share it later, okay? So Zoom meetings, post link and allow private viewings. You can also just do a virtual tour, a 3D, Matterport 3D walkthrough, a video home tour that you record, and you can post those and just call it a virtual open house and let people virtually walk through on their own. It doesn't have to be a live open house. You can do a recorded virtual open house. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to show these houses on virtual open houses. So these are just some ideas how to do a virtual open house. Now let's talk about a video walkthrough. So we talked about cameras. We talked about how to do the photos. What if you want to do a video? Can you do that? Some of these videos that people take are, they just kind of make you cringe. So we can help you with that. If you or your sellers will take some video clips, and the key word here is video clips. Don't take a video of the whole house. Don't start in the front, start recording the video and start walking through the entire house. And whether it's 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes later, you're done with the video and now you upload this 3 billion byte video file. That's not what you want. And people don't want that. What you want is, first of all, set the camera settings so that it's either what's called FHD, that's full high definition, or HD, high definition. Turn on video stabilization. A lot of the more modern cell phone cameras have video stabilization. The sound is not going to be used, so don't worry about who's saying what or what noises are being made. It's not quiet on the set. You can have the babies screaming, you can have the dogs barking, it doesn't matter. If we're the ones editing it for you, we're going to remove the soundtrack. Now, if you want a video with your own soundtrack, let us know. We can certainly keep it. But most of the time, what you want is a polished, somewhat polished video that is no more than 3 minutes. Some prefer them under a minute, but 1 to 3 minutes. And you want that video to be short little segments with background music that take people through the house and let them see what the house is in a very short time, highlighting the key features of the house, and we can help you do that. So set the camera settings, hold the camera horizontal again, you're still doing it, and use that selfie stick, hold it horizontal again, use the selfie stick if possible, if not, hold it very steady, and just do short little clips. Tell your sellers, or if you're the one doing it, that they don't need to go walking through the property with it. Tell them to just take that video, walk 5 or 10 steps in a direction, stop it. Go to another part in the kitchen, hold it and just steady turn it. Okay, hold on. Let me stop share. Okay, got to show you my hand movements here. So you want to just set it and slowly just move it like this. I mean, very slow, steady. We can speed up video. It's much easier to speed up video than it is to slow it down. because if we're slowing it down, it's already got that jerky, fast movement. But if you take it very slow, if I'm taking a video of this room and I'm holding my camera here, I want to take that. You can't see me. There you can see me. I want to just do like this. Very slow movements showing you this room. Very slow. Almost like you're painfully slow. And just give a little pano of that room. Now you want to go to somewhere where there's a bathroom or running water, or maybe you want to show like the stove or something like that. Start down low, and just move it slowly up, but very slow movement. Then stop it, then go somewhere else and very slow. You're going to end up with 10, 15, 20, 30 video clips that are just short little video clips that we're going to take all those and we're going to put them together and create a beautiful video for you. But we can't do that if you take this one great big long video of the whole house. We can, it's much harder. We're going to charge you more. That's what it is. It's harder to do it that way. Okay, so let's get back here. And so short clips, take 10, 20, 30 short clips. All right. So you want slow movements. I kind of talked about this, slow sweeps around, highlight key features like the gas stove. If you're doing a gas stove, turn on the stove. Don't just tell people, yeah, it's a gas stove, or show a picture of a gas stove. Turn on the stove. It's so much more emotional when the stove burners are going. So turn on the stove, turn on the faucet, turn on the bathtub water. It's much more interesting when you have things that are actually moving or showing flames from the stove. Okay. And same thing with outside. When you're doing outside video, if you've got a waterfall in the pool, turn on the waterfall. Do a little short clip, real close up to that waterfall. Gives a really nice emotional feel to it. Okay. 3D walkthroughs. Yes, you can do your own 3D. Your camera has to be a 3D capable camera. And I'll just tell you right now, yours are not. So you don't need to go look. I'm going to tell you right up front, your cameras are not 3D capable in the terms that we're talking here. The models that are 3D capable, we use, and the best, most popular, the world leader in 3D is Matterport. That's the company name. Matterport makes a 3D camera, and I'll show you what it looks like. But there's also other third-party cameras that will work with Matterport, and we can create a Matterport 3D using a non-Matterport camera. So that's what we're going to talk mostly about. So the models include the Matterport Pro 2. That's the expensive Matterport camera. I'll show you what it looks like. The Leica BLK 360. Now, you've probably never heard of this, and I'll tell you, you don't want to hear of this. It's an $18,000 camera. Woo! Wow. So the Ricoh Theta V and the Ricoh Theta Z1 and the Insta360 those are the cameras we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you today. And we can actually rent you one of those cameras if you want to do your own 3D. Okay. So again, you want the camera, the 3D camera, to be on a tripod. You have to use an iPad to control it. If you're renting one from us, we will provide everything all set up, all ready to go. You'll receive the iPad, the 3D camera, instructions, everything. We're there to help you if you get stuck. So you're getting everything all together for that. So the camera needs to be on a tripod. We'll provide the tripod, same thing if you're renting it from us. So short clips. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I was adding this page last night and I forgot to change some of it. So just, you know, when you get caught, you just got to own it. So I'll just tell you what you want to do. I'm going to switch over to me here for a second. So what you want to do with 3D is you're going to, let's say this is the 3D camera. It's actually fairly small. It's about the size of a cell phone. and you're going to put the 3D camera. It actually stands up. It has a little connector on the bottom of it. You put it on the tripod. You set the tripod just inside the foyer, inside the front entry, and you're going to control it with your iPad from around the corner because you don't want to be in it. Okay, so it's going to take a 360-degree view all the way around, and you don't want to be in that. So you take one right there inside the front door. Then you move this whole thing 5, 6, 7 feet, and you do it again. And you keep doing that through the house. You're going to end up with 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 different scanning locations, maybe only 40 or 50. You're going to have these, the camera that we provide is going to scan that area. You're going to move it 5, 6, 7 feet, no more than 10 feet, and you're going to scan another area. While you're doing that, it's actually building a model on your 3D camera, on the iPad. And I'm going to show you one here to show you exactly what it looks like. Is this still interesting to everybody? Can you see that? So this is a 3D model using the camera I talked about. The iPad is creating this 3D. Let's see if I can kind of get it to where you can see it without the glare. And you see each of those little like blue dots, that's where the camera was moved all around the house. And I'm going to show you the finished product as well. So you use the iPad and the camera and you create this 3D model. And I'm going to go back to the sharing. Let me just check and see if there's any notes or anything to me here that I need to pay attention to.
Tim,
yes.
I have a question for you on the 3D camera.
Yes.
I know that the Matterport Pro 2 is probably the more expensive one.
Yes.
But out of the others that you mentioned, which is the least expensive?
Well, the least expensive, of course, is to rent it from us, but no. So
Okay.
to answer your question, let's go back to that. I'll kind of give you the pricing on them or give you a general idea. Let me get back. Where was that? Okay, so, okay, here. So the Matterport Pro 2 model is, you're going to spend about $3,000, $3,500 plus tax for the camera itself, and then the tripod and the iPad and the rest of it. And then and with all of these, keep in mind that there's a monthly subscription. So that's one advantage when you rent it from us. There's no monthly subscription. We're paying for that. But if you wanted to buy one, that's what that one would be. The Leica I mentioned to you, Leica, is about $18,000, $19,000. The Ricoh models run between $500 and $1,000. Same with the Insta361X. So you're looking in that $500 to $1,000 range. For the lowest price is about $400, and then keep in mind the iPad and the subscription that you need to purchase as well. Okay.
Okay.
Good question. Okay, so that, and yeah, if that's something, if you're going to use it enough, buy one. Use it that way, absolutely. So let me show you what they look like. So this is the Pro 2, the Matterport Pro 2 camera, both of these here. So if you look close enough, you can see, well, you can sort of see, there's a row of 3 lenses on the bottom here, 3 lenses in the center, and 3 lenses on the top. You've actually got 6 cameras going at the same time. It's taking pictures up, down, and straight. In addition to that, there's 3 infrared lights that are measuring the room at the same time. So it's doing all this in the same camera. And that's why those are, you know, in that closer to $4,000 range. These cameras, the Insta361X, this is the one we use, or the Ricoh, they have a couple of different models. These have a lens on both sides. If you were to look at this sideways, you'd see the lens on both sides. And it's basically taking a picture both directions to create a 360 all at once. So these don't need to spin around, whereas this one, when you control it, it turns around, it spins, and takes pictures all the way around. Now I will tell you, and I'll show you, at least I'll show you this one, and if you want and if I have time, I can show you the comparison, but what I have already set up and planned to show you is an example of this one. I will tell you, if you've seen the Matterport 360 or Matterport Pro 2 3Ds, the quality is significantly better. So you definitely get what you're paying for. These cameras are a lot higher quality photos than what you get out of one of these. So these are the only reason we're even offering this and offering it as a rental is to help those people that want to do 3D, can't either, whether it's afford it or can't, it's not even afford because it's not that much less expensive. It is, but not that much because you're renting it for a period of time. So it's not even about that, it's about access. If you don't have access, you need your sellers to do it. Or if you are going to do it yourself and you can't have a professional come in, then these are a good second choice. It's kind of like I say, we do virtual staging. Our other company, our other division, it's actually the same company, different division. Our division called Real Easy Photo Fix, we do virtual staging. I always say to people, real staging is definitely the first choice. If you can do real staging, whether it's cost, whether it's whatever reason, if you can do it, then you should. But virtual staging is a good backup option. And that's the same thing I'm showing you here today. These are a good backup option. So here's a model. This is a 3D that was done with the Insta361 camera. So you can see this is the Dollhouse View, and I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to show you one of these that was done with the Insta360, the one that we're putting together in a package for this digital listing packages. So this is a model that was done with the Insta360. Now, if you've seen other Matterport, at this level, there's not a whole lot of difference. The 3D, it's called the Dollhouse View, probably doesn't look a whole lot different at this point. But when you get inside it, you'll definitely see a difference if you've seen Matterport 3Ds otherwise. And if you haven't, you can go onto our website, virtualtourcafe.com, and you can scroll down and you'll see examples right there. So if you want to see what the true professional 3D camera looks like, you can see examples there. So what I want to do is, let me actually switch screens here while we're on this same topic. I think we can get this here. Okay, can everyone see my screen still? Give me a thumbs up if you see the model moving. Thumbs up, do you see the model moving? Let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. Adrian, can you see my model moving? No, you don't see it moving. Okay, let me share. I think I need to share a different screen. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Okay, now, can you see the model moving? Okay, so this is a 3D, Matterport 3D, but it's taken with that Insta361 camera. Now, if you're not familiar with Matterport 3Ds, one of the cool things is this Dollhouse View. You can just move it all around in any direction you want to. You can just turn it. So if you're a buyer, imagine being able to look at the layout of the house in this way. You can look at it, you know, sideways. You can look at it, you know, from the top. You can look at the design, how the stairs go. You know, you can really just look at the whole house any way you want to. Now, let's zoom inside here and let's take a look around. Now, this isn't bad. So this is, you know, the quality is decent. You can get a feel for this house by moving around. You just move, I'm using the mouse, if you're not familiar with it, to grab, sort of like pulling myself along. So I use the mouse just to kind of drag it or click somewhere, and it takes me to that location. So here I am at the front entry. I can walk inside to the bathroom. You can look down, you can look up. It gives you that 3D view, and I hope the way it looks on your screen is the way it looks on my screen. Hopefully it's not too jittery or anything like that. I know with webinars, things, sometimes the screen doesn't adjust as quickly, but you can move through the house. But if you've seen a Matterport 3D, the quality just is so much better on the Matterport 3D camera. I mean, it's a camera that's 10 times as much cost-wise as well. But this definitely gives people, if you're wanting to share with people a view of the house in a virtual open house, and you don't have the ability of sending a photographer there, this is I think a good option. I hope a good option. And you can even walk up the stairs. You can turn it around here, keep walking up the stairs, go in the bedrooms, go into the master bedroom. Okay, does that give you a feel for what this camera, the 360, Insta360, or any of the other lower end type cameras can do for a 360? Anytime you want to, you can go back out to the Dollhouse View. You can move it around. You can say, oh, I want to go into this room, and just click down in that room. Takes you down in there. Want to go back to the Dollhouse, just click on the Dollhouse. You can look at a floor plan straight down on the house. You even have, let me go back to the Dollhouse. In case you're not familiar with this, let's say that we go down in here, and I'm wondering, what is the distance between those areas? We actually include a measuring tool, and you can measure what's the distance between that area, and it gives you the measurement. Maybe I want to move this over here, and you can see the measurement. So it is a really good tool to be able to show people an open house, a virtual open house with 3D, if you can't do a professional 3D. Okay? Let me just switch back here. Oops, I've been disabled. I think maybe my time has run out.
That's weird.
My screen sharing's been disabled. Is that?
Are we going to run out of time, Eric? Are we on a time here? I'm not sure.
Well, let me just finish up by telling you some things. Oh, I think I can share now.
Okay, it was just a.
And I'll go quickly. I think we're getting near 4:30, so let me just kind of quickly wrap up some things here. So just want to show you some examples. These are professional photos. This is an example of what you don't want to do. So if you or your sellers are taking the picture, tell them not to do that. But you know what? We can fix it. We can correct it. But this is not the same photo. This is just showing the difference between a non-professional photo and a professional photo. But let's look at some, so here again, this is, you don't want to point down at things. You want to keep them nice and straight. So you want to keep your photos straight. So you don't want to take that vertical picture. You want that horizontal. Vertical, horizontal. Much more interesting to show the horizontal, and use these things, foreground, to frame the photo. Okay, so virtual staging as an option. So people have a hard time visualizing what this room could be used for or what it is, but this gives them a much better idea. So virtual staging is a really great way to add emotion to the house, to the listing, go from this to that. Same photo, just changing it by adding virtual staging. So here's an empty room. You don't really even know what this room is until you add the virtual staging. So here's the room without virtual staging. Here's the room with virtual staging.
Tim, can I ask you a quick question regarding virtual staging?
Yeah.
This has come up a couple times with my agents we've discussed. What do you recommend as any sort of disclaimer they need to use when they have virtually staged photos?
I like to say, you just missed the moving truck. It just left. Just kidding. No, that's what I tell people when somebody shows up at the house and they go, where's the furniture? You say, oh gosh, you just missed the moving truck. No, you do. It is required to add disclaimer. And the really all it says, the California Association of Realtors, what they have come down and said is just that you need to disclose that it's virtually staged. So put it in public remarks, put it in your description of the property that, if that description is showing up where the pictures are, when we do a virtual tour for people, we actually put in the title of the picture, virtually staged in parentheses. So we tell people right there, it's virtually staged. Now, if you tell us you don't want that, we won't do it, but that's what we do. So you have to disclose it. Now, what you don't want to do, you do not want to change flooring. You do not want to change cabinets. You do not want to change this to a white brick. You don't want to change anything physical about the property. Only change things that could be moved, that could be staged with real furniture. So I could bring real furniture in here and I could put these things in. So just change things that are real furniture, okay? Did that answer your question okay, Adrian?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So in summary, use these 7 steps to take pictures. You send photos to your agent or to Virtual Tour Cafe, creating a video walkthrough, upload the video clips to a shared program like Dropbox or ShareFile. Use virtual staging where it's appropriate. So I'll stop there, and if I can answer any questions, I will be happy to. And thank you again. I really appreciate the time, and I hope this helps somebody somewhere.
Hey, Tim, this is Erica. Hey, Adrian.
Hi, Erica.
Hi,
Erica.
I just wanted to say a comment about virtual staging. The other thing that we've done is to show the room unstaged and staged.
Yes.
So show the blank canvas and then show what it would look like, show the staged version. So yes, the disclaimer is important and you need to have that in there. But another, way to deal with that as well is to show it unstaged and then show it staged.
Yeah, and I think that's real good idea, Erica, to do that in the virtual tour as well. You can do it that way. Some want it, some don't. So we'll go with what you want, but I like that idea. It's harder to do on a flyer, and so I definitely use the stage photos and just put a disclaimer myself.
Right. I was talking about like in the MLS or...
Yeah, but
I mean,
MLS...
you don't even have to do it in a virtual tour if you don't want to, but certainly in the MLS, I think it's helpful for people because they can see it both ways, and it shows that you haven't changed fundamentally what the room looks like.
Agree 100%. Thank you.
Tim, one of our agents asked about turnaround time for editing his video.
Editing video, generally about 3 days.
Thank you. And I told him that the packages that you so generously put together for us, I have on our marketing tips room in Switchboard, you guys. If you want to check it out, there's a direct link to the order form that will go to Tim. Or you can give him a call at the office or check him out on virtualtourcafe.com.
Thank you, Adrian.
Any other questions?
I see a question just about, is there a noticeable difference in 3D video by an expensive camera and the less expensive one? So I think you're referring to the 3D scanning, not really video, it's 3D scanning. And yes, there is a noticeable difference. Go on to virtualtourcafe.com and just scroll down on the page and you'll see some examples of our property website virtual tours. And in those, you will also see professional 3D Matterport 3Ds that are done with the expensive camera. All of our photographers use the Pro 2, the Matterport Pro 2 camera. So they're all using the expensive cameras. We don't use the inexpensive camera when we're doing it professionally, so you can see those on our website and see the difference.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you again so much, Tim, for your time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we'll look forward to maybe seeing you next week. I don't know what our topic is yet, but we will be here, same place, same time.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Great information.
Thank you. Stay safe and be healthy, everybody.
Oh, and just quickly, I will be sure to include Tim's handout on the marketing page also in Switchboard.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.